General Emeka Anyaoku led the group to meet with the president. The group wants President Tinubu to send 2 separate bills to the National Assembly to convene a National Constituent Assembly that will be required to draft a new constitution, which should make provision for a national referendum. Now, also, another group of eminent and concerned Nigerian academics and activists is advocating the wholesale overhaul of all sectors in Nigeria to prevent the nation from further sliding into a state of complete chaos and anarchy. In a statement titled Nigeria at the Crossroads, a Policy Direction, the group, which includes academics and rights activists like Professor Jibrin Ibrahim, Dr. College Shetima, Clement Nwanko, Uche Onyagocha, Dr. Usman Bugaji, and NLB, among others, cited incompetence and a lack of empathy on the part of the nation's leadership for the worsening corruption, poverty, insecurity, and economic decline among Nigerians. They are proposing a series of short, medium, and long-term measures aimed at revitalizing the economy, curbing poverty and corruption, strengthening governance, and addressing insecurity. Well, to help us make sense of all of it, we have joining us right here in the studio a former member of the House of Representatives, who is also a former secretary to the Imo State government, Honorable Uche Onyagocha. He also signed that communique by those activists and academics. Thank you so much for joining us, Honorable.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, so, well, you were part of the team that actually drafted that communique saying that, look, intellectuals, activists, and all of that are worried on the state of the nation. And just on Friday, we had former Commonwealth Secretary General Emeka Anyaoku leading the Patriots. Just give us your analysis on why it looks like something needs to be done and then done urgently.
Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to be here. First and foremost, anybody who does not understand that Nigeria is going down is living in Alice in the Wonderland. This country has seriously gone down to a very large extent. And what we are trying to hold back now and salvage is going into total anarchy. If you may recall, in the twilight of the Buhari regime, there was this exposure by even Arise Television and other television networks about how crude oil was being stolen. And the pipelines were shown. NNPC went to show different pipelines that were used to steal the crude oil. The first thing anybody expected at the beginning of Bola Tinubu administration is to set up a probe panel to investigate it and give us a report. That has been swept under the carpet, even when Mr. President is the petroleum minister. So there is a total lack of capacity, and it's deliberate lack of capacity to tackle corruption in Nigeria by the leadership. And because they do not have the capacity to tackle corruption, they have decided to shift the burden of the failing Nigerian state to the ordinary masses by imposing all this withdrawal of fuel subsidy, devaluation of Nigeria, which has made life too difficult for everybody. The other day, we witnessed Mr. President announcing that he has increased minimum wage from 35,000 to 70,000 naira. And the truth is that they have only robbed workers. When it was 35,000 as minimum wage, it was the equivalent of $60. Today, the 70,000 which they claim to have increased is now equivalent of $44. So they are shortchanging the Nigerian workers to the tune of $18. So you have not increased anything. Well, it is pathetic that even the NLC accepted that. I can go back to the period when Udoji award was given. The minimum wage was about 95 naira, which there was equivalent of about $150.
That was in the 70s.
Yes, the minimum wage today should be whatever is the equivalent of the minimum wage before.
Well, you're not in government for you to know that the accruals at the moment in terms of monies are actually going down, because the government is saying that, look, I mean, even 15, 20 years ago, our budget was like about between 25 to 30 billion US dollars. But total worth of it now, it's like about 20 billion dollars. So they're not getting enough revenues, and there's a revenue problem in the country.
Yeah, but we know where the revenue is going to. The truth is that you know that the crude oil is being stolen, and you are refusing to do anything to stop the stealing of the crude oil. Meanwhile, Obasanjo was Minister for Petroleum for 8 years. He couldn't do anything about it. Buhari was Minister of Petroleum for 8 years. He couldn't do anything about it. Today, Bola Ahmed Tinubu is the Minister of Petroleum for a year and 2 months or whatever it is. And he's still not able to salvage the situation.
He just gave them a marching order, the military. The
no, we're not talking about
them going to the Niger Delta.
If the Minister of Petroleum, who also happens to be the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, cannot deliver in his special Minister of Petroleum, he has to resign. That is the truth of it. Buhari should have resigned. Obasanjo should have resigned. For the 8 years that he was Petroleum Minister, the refineries were run aground.
Onyagocha, you're talking about someone who was your colleague in ADECO. I mean, are you doubting President Tinubu's capacity? I mean, you worked in the late 90s together, doing all this freedom fighting and progressives and all of that. How come you're calling the capacity of President Tinubu to question now? Have you lost faith in him?
Yes. I don't have faith anymore in President Ahmed Bola Tinubu. Like I told you off record, I was the person holding the microphone in the popular video that has gone viral where he was calling for protest. So how come the same Bola Tinubu is coming out today to say that people cannot protest? What we did in those days when we were in opposition, the people today have not done 1/4 of it. We blocked Third Mainland Bridge. Osagi Obayiwan and I used to block Oyibo. What is it? We set up pirate radio with a minister in his government whose name I don't want to mention, but he knows himself. We operated Radio Kudirat International from exile. The truth is that the people today are not even angry. Because if they're angry, they don't need to bother with all these things they are saying that nobody can protest. Just disregard them and do something that shows how angry you are. And I'm sure that Tinubu himself is just testing the capacity of the people who are angry to know whether they are genuinely angry.
All right.
And what is happening today is evidence that there is no opposition political parties. The opposition political parties are gone. Okay. But let me warn, unless we take necessary steps to allow the populace to vent their anger peacefully, democratically, we will only succeed in pushing them underground. Well, many of them will get angry and join the bandits. Many of them will get angry and join the non-state actors in different areas and begin to
hope it doesn't really happen.
But
actually, now, so let's come back to actually the solutions on ground now are being proffered. One of the groups, the Patriots, actually wrote and they visited President Bola Ahmed Tinubu saying that, look, from our own perspective, we need a new constitution, convoke a national constituent assembly, and then, of course, let's have a referendum embedded in it, send 2 bills to the National Assembly. I mean, you were in the National Assembly yourself. Do you think that this could actually lead to solutions?
With the greatest respect to the elder statesman, Emeka Anyukwu, he doesn't even need to waste his energy doing that. Because Tinubu needs to be reminded, were we not all together in APC? Why did we form APC? I started from Action Congress to Action Congress of Nigeria to APC. We had a document that contained all these things that need to be done that everybody is calling on him to do. Has he thrown away his copies of the document? He should go and collect the copy from Baba Konde, his closest man. Well, because nothing that he's been told today, there is nothing that he's been told today that he doesn't know about. Let him go and collect his documents. If he has misplaced his own, he should collect from Shegun Oshoba. He should collect from Nuhu Ribadu. We went and drafted Nuhu Ribadu to come and run for president under ACN. Nuhu said that what he's doing today is what we expected. The APC we have today, is that the APC we fought for? Is that the APC? Is that the change we fought to bring to Nigeria? So there is this total deliberate attempt to make Nigerians look stupid by arranging people to come and make this call. Nobody needs to make the call. He knows everything that ought to be done, that needs to be done. It has been documented. The documents are with him. If he has lost his copies, he should ask us to give him the extra
All right,
copies.
And I'm very sure you're his good friend. You could actually get some copies across to him.
No, he's not listening. He's not listening.
Oh, President Tinubu is not listening?
At all, he's not listening.
So how could he have hosted Emeka Anyukwu and others if he's not listening?
No, because he wants to massage his ego. He has to come down the high horse. We started a long time ago. When there was a World Conference on Democracy when we fought against the military.
Yeah, I think that was in 1994. And all
yes.
That.
So, but let us even look at the issue of corruption. I have always advocated, and I want to continue to advocate. I challenge the EFCC chairman. Come, let us go and institutionalize the process of fighting corruption. Today, most of the people who are stealing money are shifting their money into property acquisition because that's the easiest way to hide your stolen wealth, because BVN has made it difficult for people to dump their money in the bank. So it is either being used to buy properties or they are hiding them in foreign currencies.
Forex and all of that.
So what we should do now, side by side with BVN, let us now introduce PVN. Property verification number. Wow. Every property in Nigeria today should have a property verification number so that we know how much you're earning and how come you got the property you have. It will do the same thing that BVN did in the banks, and it will expose everybody, and they will abandon. I'm
very sure you're trying to help your friend here. I mean, that's a very good solution.
They know all these solutions.
But Honorable Onyagocha, this national conference or National Constituent Assembly being proposed, could it in any way help her? Because they are saying that the reforms that were proposed under Jonathan's administration should also be brought in. The national conference that was held, bring all these documents together and see how you could juggle them and have a new people's constitution. If we have a new people's constitution, could that actually help reduce all these problems?
First, do they accept that this constitution we have is illegitimate and not a people's constitution? You have to have that frame of mind to accept it. If we accept it, then we put it aside and start the process of setting up another constitution. Then there must be a commitment to respect whatever comes out of that conference, so that you don't start with all this mindset of Nigeria, we are committed to Nigeria as a non-divisible entity.
Yeah.
The people may choose to have confederation, and so be it. And if they want a confederation of states, that must be respected. If the people choose to go their separate ways, that must be respected. So it is not enough to call for a constitutional conference. Are you committed to listen to what people say, or are you coming there to gag them? Are you going to give them the freedom to genuinely express their mind? Because those who are benefiting from Nigeria today are those who have taken advantage of Nigeria, looted the treasury and looted the economy. They are the ones holding, and the people are coming after them. The people already know. With what happened in the protests from August 1st to 10th, very soon none of them were able to go to their villages.
All right, so just before I let you go, why was the protest not held so much in the Southeast? I mean, you are one of the Southeast leaders. I mean,
I have clearly stated it that every day of the life of the people of Southeast has been protest.
Okay.
We are the only people who are governed by the Europeans through the policy of direct rule. So we confronted the Europeans headlong. During colonialism, and we suffered it directly. So we fought the British headlong. Every aspect of our life has been a challenge, fighting bad government and trying to have a proper government. All the while our people have been doing sit at home. Is it not protest? Did Nigeria know? For how long now have we had protests in the Southeast? Every Monday is shut down. The markets are shut down. The people are at their home. So who says that our people didn't participate in the protest? Did you follow last Monday what happened? There was it at
very
last
interesting submission. But coincidentally, most of the elites in the Southeast are actually finding their way back to the APC from PDP and all of that, and people are beginning to ask questions, including somewhere how your state governor, Hope Uzodinma, is waxing stronger, receiving all these people into the APC. Doesn't that tell you that 2027 is going to be a different ballgame?
I was in APC. I was a founding leader in APC. I understand the politics of APC. They are deceiving Hope Uzodinma, like they deceived Rochas Okorocha. Hope is already going through the same path that Rochas Okorocha passed through. He's going around delivering lectures. They are making promises to him that he will be VP, he will be Senate President. It's all deception. We have gone past that stage. The stage where we are now in Nigeria is that we must be honest to ourselves and salvage this house before non-state actors take over power from us.
All right, that's a fine place to actually leave this conversation. We must thank you so much. Honorable Uche Onyeagwocha is a former member of the House of Representatives and a former secretary to the state government in Imo State, and still a friend of President Bola Tinubu, because we were all in the trenches together.
If he wants to listen.
All right.
If he wants to listen. And if he wants to be told the truth, only the truth and nothing but the truth. Well, because we have no reason to be afraid of telling him the truth. I don't want any appointment from him.
All right.
Brutal truth.